survey hacking when we kind of like came up with this, buying part of a parcel. So it could be a 50-acre parcel, you're buying 10 acres of it. It could be a 50-acre parcel with a house on it, you're buying 10 acres of it.
That's all negotiable. That's why this works so well. You're selling part of your asset, and people are more likely to sell part of their asset than the whole thing.
Every person with 20 plus acres can be a potential deal. All you have to do is get a survey for the property, line it up, close it, and just make money on the back end flipping it.
You got to look at supply and demand though. Why is it working so well? Hey everyone, welcome back to the Real Estate Investing Podcast. Today's topic, we're talking about survey hacking and making $500,000 a year from one niche, one strategy called survey hacking. I'm your host, Ron Apke, joined again by my brother and business partner, Ron Apke. And we coined the term and created the niche survey hacking it came naturally, but probably a year ago.
It's in the last year, yeah.
In the last year or so, we came up with survey hacking and really put the niche to work and started putting it out there more, getting people on the same train in terms of actually going after it as a niche, targeting it. And just to define survey hacking, let's talk about what it actually is before we hop into it.
Yeah, so survey hacking is essentially buying a part of a parcel. I think that's the definition we put on it when we coined the term. Survey hacking when we kind of like came up with this, buying part of a parcel. So it could be a 50-acre parcel, you're buying 10 acres of it. It could be a 50-acre parcel with a house on it, you're buying 10 acres of it. So buying a portion of a parcel.
Buying a portion of a parcel. So taking one parcel and buying part of it. So you have one big square, you take a little corner piece and you buy part of it. The reason why this works so well, so let's say someone has 50 acres with a house on it. That house and that 50 acres are connected.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to refinance to get money, they can, but it's connected. If they want to liquidate some of their house, they can't. You can't liquidate part of your house. You can't liquidate part of your assets like that. So one way for them to get money, to get their asset, to get their cash out, is selling part of their land. For anyone. That's why this works for land or with houses. So if they need money, they don't want to sell the whole thing. They just need $28,000 to get their kid to college, or they need $28,000 for their whatever to pay off the rest of their house or whatever it is. You can sell. They have 50 acres. They can sell 20 of them. They have 50 acres. They can sell 5 of it. They can have 50 acres. They can sell 48 of it. That's all negotiable. That's why this works so well. You're selling part of your asset, and people are more likely to sell part of their asset than the whole thing.
Yeah. And it's so open-ended is why I'm such a fan of this niche, is because it's such an open-ended niche. It also allows you to attack people. You attack properties that you haven't went after before, because it's not vacant land, potentially. It can be vacant land. You can be going after 50 acres of vacant land as well. But it's so open-ended, so it gives you so much opportunity for deals. Every person with 20 plus acres can be a potential deal. All you have to do is get a survey for the property, line it up, and close it, and just make money on the back end flipping it. It's a win-win. Like, it is a true win-win for the seller, for you. Not every seller is going to work for, obviously. Some people want to keep all of their land, but it is a win-win for everyone. And I just think it makes sense. It just 100% makes sense. If a seller's asking for a little bit more money, ask for a little bit more land. And it just is really open-ended in that aspect, where there's no way it doesn't work.
Talk about a niche with no competition. No competition besides the ones we created over the last 12 months. So Ron and I created this, like I said, 12 months ago, and that's the only competition because no one else is targeting it. So we had people after 12 months when we started pushing it, talking about it, content on it, all that stuff. Okay, some people executed, and now a lot of people in the community are getting these deals. You got to look at supply and demand, though. Why is it working so well? Competition's low. Virtually in existence. You want to go to a house, Ron, and offer a 50-acre parcel with a house on it to buy part of their land. Nobody else has done that.
No.
I mean, with less than 0.001.
They offer for the whole thing, maybe.
They offer the whole thing, not part.
Yeah.
And that's why you're going to get this. That's why it works so well. And you got to think of the inventory. So the vacant land industry, we have so many parcels that we can go after in so many counties, right? It's a lot of inventory. Don't get me wrong. It's 8 times more inventory than houses, but there's a lot of people going after them too. So you have more competition. This just opens you up to a whole nother place. So now we can go after not only vacant land, but we can also go after land with structures on it. So it just opens up the inventory to everything.
Yeah. It literally lets you go after so many properties that have never been targeted, and it allows you to go after other properties that have been targeted in such a different way. And A couple of things I like about it also allows so much creativeness, like in how you're offering things. We don't have a set way of like how to go after these. I have ways that I think work best, but we don't have a set way, and it allows you to be creative as you're scaling up your business. Like if you want to transition to full-time this or full-time subdividing, or like those are real things where you can have really big businesses and doing less deals than traditional flipping, and it just makes sense from that perspective, Dan. I think when there's opportunity, there's some barrier to entry with survey hacking because like you need a little bit more expertise than just flipping. And there's not education out there. There just isn't education. There's not competition out there. So there's so much opportunity on the table.
I agree. And I think it's a good, it's good. It's really, really good for people good on the phones because it's an open-ended conversation, because you're going to send them now. You can send them a blind-ish offer with giving an amount per acre roughly, but it's going to change if they have 50 acres, whether they sell 48 acres or 3. Your price per acre is going to change. So you can do like a range per acre. We offer blah, blah, blah per acre. Hey, I'm looking to buy part of your land. The way we do this, you own X acres, fill in the blank. So it's going to connect to your Excel. You own 50 acres in Crawford County, Georgia. I'm looking to buy part of your land, blah, 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 whatever you're interested in selling, whatever the piece. We can all, the goal of this letter is to talk to you on the phone and see if you're interested in selling any of your land. And then you can kind of just explain it over there. And then you can give them an offer price under that kind of a rough range if you want. Like you said, we don't have a set strategy for this, but that is one way that will work. We offer on average depending on how much land you sell, anywhere between $1,700 an acre to $4,200 an acre, something like that, just to get them on the phones. And then they call you back and you're talking to them. You ask them if they have interest, why they have interest, break it down a little bit. And then you ask them how much they're looking to sell potentially. And then they might tell you 5 acres. Oh, do you have a part of the land you want to sell? And they go, oh, all the way in the back. And you go, well, the back doesn't have road access. So then you start negotiating. Can we get a little bit on the front? Or if you give me an easement back there, I can make it work, but my price per acre is going to be down. And you just start the negotiation process. And that's why it's so good for people creative with an open mind and good on the phones.
100%. Like if you can get those people on the phone, like if there's someone interested and you can get on the phone, like you're going to make a deal out of it just because how much opportunity. And even if you're just sending blind offers for normal land, like when you get these people on the phone, you can talk to them about this strategy too. As far as like you're just trying to buy 50 acres. You made a blind offer for 50 acres and someone calls you back like you're way too low. You can start offering those people like, okay, it seems like we're way too far off for 50 acres. What I can do is take offer to buy 10 of your acres, and being creative that way when you're just doing this business model traditionally. But getting to the point, Dan, where you're making $500,000, like I don't think your margins are going to be that crazily different from just flipping. So I think to make $500,000, like if you're making $25,000 per deal, you're going to need to do about 20 deals. But you can flurry in. Some of these might turn into subdivides, which I do like. And maybe you can get that average up to $40,000, $50,000 and do 10, 12 deals a year. To make $500,000 in this business, it's gross. It's not a high volume for something like this, I don't think.
20 deals, that's 2 deals a month essentially. And then if you get your price per acre, or not price per acre, profit per deal up a little bit, then you're talking 10 to 15 deals, which is very doable. A deal a month, 30 to 50 grand from a survey hack is very doable, I think. But I think the key is also continue to test out how you're acquiring. Cold calling, try it out. Direct mail is going to work. You're going to get people on the phone. You just got to learn how to structure it. I go back and forth whether we want a set way to do this like we have for our other ones, or more open-ended, because I think this is so creative to how much of the land you buy, where the land is, what you're targeting houses versus. I don't know if I want a set way, but more guidance to, hey, this is the philosophy. This is how it works. This is kind of what you should do, but also look in this area. But I'm curious, guys, if you guys have done 5 to 10 survey hacks, which I know you guys have, please DM us and let us know how you're getting them. Let us know your strategy, what's working, what's not working, because I want to know what's working in the community. We see so many of these come through. It's like, okay, how did these come through? And I just want to dig in. So if you guys have 5 deals, we'll get you on. If you guys have done 5 subdivides, we'll bring you up on the podcast and talk about survey hacking
I think a lot of the people who are doing these niches and stuff have found a lot of value in the one-on-one coaching stuff where they get with Anthony or another one of our land specialists for 90 days, and they really kind of take on the whatever niche they're trying to. That's when people get we have a lot of our coaching students are doing very targeted subdivides. Survey hacking is a big part of it. Some people are just doing the business traditional, but a lot of people are doing those different types of deals in those coaching. But yeah, for sure. If you've done 5-10 survey hacks,
let's get them on.
DM us on Discord. I would love to talk to you in more detail on this because it is something that's growing. There's literally no competition in this. Like you can say we've been talking about for 12 months, but like there's 3,000 counties. There's 150, 160 million parcels in the country that you can target with something like this. So I think the opportunity is there. The thing about it, if you're doing 20 deals of these, there is more that goes into it operationally.
Yep.
Because you are paying for a survey. There's more cost. Like you have
closing time or longer closing times.
Yeah. So you need to get them under contract. So you have a 90-day closing period or something, a 60-day closing period. If you have that, like
earnest down.
Earn it. Yeah, you want earnest down
You're
so you're locked in
because
you want to get survey. You probably can list it at that time too, Dan.
You can pre-list it, yeah.
Like if you get the right documentation, like getting earnest and also having
Don't list it too early, but list it 3 weeks of being out.
Yeah, 3 weeks being out of closing.
Yeah.
So many different ways to do this. But yeah, there is more operationally as far as managing. Like if you're doing 20 deals a year and you have a 60-day closing period on all of them, you're going to have a lot of deals that overlap for sure, 4 or 5 deals that overlap. You're going to have a lot of surveys going on. But I think just finding, like, would you try to stay in one ballpark area where you can use the same surveyor?
Yeah, I kind of recommend that for
a lot.
Yeah, for subdivides too. Not staying in one, but it's going to be easier if you can stay in multiple. The cool thing about survey hacks is you can stay in one area because there's so many people with houses. Just inventory is exponentially greater, and you can remail, retext, cold call, whatever it is. It's always easier, but try different things out. Don't stay in one market. Try a couple, and then see what's working, and then come back to that.
Yeah, I think you can stay in a market and some target subdivides, some target
surveyors
survey
would do multiple counties too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they'll go 100 miles out. Different areas. Anything else, Dan? As far as like, who should be looking into this? Is it anyone really? I think what's cool about this strategy is marketing wise, it might subdivide in two. It's going to be extremely efficient marketing because they're just such open-ended offers. You can make a lot of deals happen and your deals per mail or your deals per text are going to be really low, I think.
I agree. I think anyone keep an open mind to it when you send out land for 50 acres and they call you back and you're having a conversation with them and they might not want to sell their full 50. Give them another option. Hey, I know you're kind of emotionally attached to this land. I understand you've had it for 40 years. If you didn't want to sell the whole thing, it seems like you're kind of teetering that. Would you be interested in selling, 20 acres of it or 10 acres of it? We can subdivide off. It's a little bit longer of a process. I need to get a surveyor before closing. I'll put down payment in earnest, and a title company will hold that, and then we'll survey off whatever 10 acres you want. We can talk about that. And a lot of times you'll have that opportunity there.
It's such a specialized offer. like those people like on the like you can just, they need money. They don't want to separate from their entire piece of land that they've had in the family for X number of years. So it just makes a ton of sense from everyone's perspective. They can get good capital behind them. Then you obviously have the land value. You want to be buying these at 50% of market value, though. That's something we haven't really talked about. If you're like, you want to make sure you can double your money.
Unless you're subdividing, yeah.
Yeah, but double your money, whether 50%. So making sure, like, that's what you want to do. If you're buying 5 acres of parcel, you got to, and you can only flip it. You got to make sure that you can flip that and make money and it makes sense. In yours, it's just, you can't just have a couple of $1,000s in margin or something.
Yeah, like and literally a lot of times people will just want to keep their 5 acres around and they'll sell their 45 or keep 2 acres around it.
It's going to be very common for the house ones.
Yeah, for the houses. So you got to be open with it. Sometimes they might only want to sell 2. But you just got to go in with an open mind and see what they're looking for, why they're looking for what. Oh, they need 28,000. Work backwards from whatever they need, and then just negotiate.
Relationship building is huge with this strategy.
Yeah,
I think.
I agree.
Because I think if you don't like have a relationship with the seller, it's much harder to go back and forth about these. And when things come up, maybe the surveyor got pushed out another week, 2 weeks. But building a relationship with sellers in this strategy in particular, I think is huge. Anything that has a longer closing period, I think having a better relationship with the seller is more important because things are going to come. Maybe the survey comes back and you were trying to get 15 acres and it came back at 13 and you got to lower the price or something like that. Like that's something that's going to happen. And by having that relationship, I think it's going to help you make more money and just close more deals.
I agree. I don't have anything else to add.
Cool. If you guys are listening, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're listening on YouTube, listening on Spotify, leave us a review, share with a friend. It helps so much. Other than that, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining, guys. As always, thank you for joining. Please do us a huge favor and like and subscribe our YouTube channel and share this with a friend. It really means the world to Ron and I, but more importantly, it could help change the life of someone else. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next episode.